Good day, everybody. And once again, we're back together. Well, this time we're going to be looking at electrodynamics from the May-June 2025 exam. So please, if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And by the way, we will be building a community right here on our YouTube channel. All right, so firstly, let's look at the question. Right, and by the way, we've been doing all the other questions. As you guys are preparing for exams, you can walk through those questions so that you are able to just be prepared for that final exam. All right, they say the diagram below represents a simplified version of an AC generator. Okay, they say the induced current flows from X to Y in the coil when the coil is rotated clockwise. Right, so we've got the direction of the current, and in this case the direction of rotation as shown in the diagram. Right, they say what is the polarity of A? Right, now ladies and gents, I want us to please note we're going to use because we're dealing with an AC generator. So anytime that we are dealing with the generator, we are going to use the right hand rule. Okay, so please remember, once we deal with the motor, that is when we are going to be using our left hand. Okay, right, so firstly, we know that we place our hand or our fingers at right hand to each other. So this is going to be your thumb over here. Ooh, what a thin thumb. Okay, and you're going to have your index finger. All right, so in that case, that shows you the direction of the field. So that's the one that we'll use to determine the direction of the magnetic field. So it will tell us whether this is north or south. And then you've got your second finger, in this case, or your middle finger. All right, so that will show us the direction of the current. Okay. So this would be electric field, and this will show us the force or the direction of rotation. Now I'm going to focus on this side here. Now if we are rotating this thing clockwise, right, firstly, it means that on this XY, the direction of rotation is upwards, right? It's going up on this side. So you're going to take your thumb and place it upwards. And then secondly, this tells me that my current, so my second finger, is moving towards the direction, in this case, as shown, that is forward. So you are trying to move this guy, pointed in that direction forward. So there's my thumb pointing upwards, but my current is actually facing forward. All right, if I notice, then it means that my, I'm going to try and draw it. So there's my thumb, okay. My second finger would be pointing, so let's talk about the index finger first. So my index finger seems to be pointing in that direction, and my second finger seems to be pointing in that direction. That's the direction of the current. Okay, right, so that tells me that my field is going from this side to that side, and we know that electric field, or rather magnetic field, always moves from north to south, so which means that A must be our north side. Okay, right, so please know how to navigate this. Right, so they say state one way in which the induced EMF of this generator can be increased. Now there's three ways, right? Firstly, we know that E is minus N, the change in phi divided by delta T. So firstly, you can increase the number of coils, right, in your armature. So that's one way. Increase the number of coils. Right, you only need to mention one of these. Secondly, I can use a stronger magnet, right? use stronger magnets. Right, that's the change in magnetic flux there. Magnet. And another option there is to increase the speed of rotation. Okay. So I can increase the speed of rotation. That will decrease the amount of time it takes per rotation, and that will definitely increase the output of your generator. All right, so those are the three options that you have. You can state one of them. Right, now they say to us sketch a graph of induced EMF, induced current versus time for one complete rotation for the coil from the horizontal position as shown in the diagram above. So how will our diagram look like? So remember, we are talking about current, induced current. Okay, so this would be current. All right, and that's in amperes. This is against time. Okay, in seconds. All right. Now notice when it is lying flat like this across your magnetic field, that's where we will have maximum current. Okay. And then once it's at 90 degrees, okay, then we know that our current will be 0. Okay, and in this case, once XY is on this side, then we're going to have -1. Okay, or rather negative current. Okay, remember that's alternating current. Of course, it will come back to 0 and it will go back to its original position. So this is what one cycle will actually look like. All right, we don't know what the values are in terms of the frequency of it, nor the time that we are given, like the period. Okay, nor do we know the value of the current, so I'm just going to leave it in that format. Okay, right, now let's go to the next part. And here, guys, I want you to please capitalize on this. They say an AC generator produces a maximum output voltage. So this is Vmax, right? They say a 1200 watt kettle, electric kettle, operates optimally when it is connected to this generator. Now they say define the term root mean square current. All right, hey guys, to be honest with you, I always try to memorize this, but it's one of those things that really get to me, right? Please go and look it up. As I said, these are your low-hanging fruits. Just look it up and know how to define this. Right, now let's look at 9.2.2. So they say, calculate the root mean square current passing through the kettle. Right, so firstly, we were given Vmax, okay? So what would we need to do? We need to, every time we're looking at the power, this is average power, right? So which means that P average would be V RMS, okay, V RMS multiplied by I RMS, okay? So I've got the average power, which is 1200, but I don't have VRMS. I'm given the maximum voltage. So how do I convert that to VRMS? So remember that VRMS is Vmax. That's the maximum voltage divided by square root of 2. So that means that's going to be 340 divided by square root of 2. That's my RMS value of the voltage. And I'm looking for I RMS. And so all we do, ladies and gents, is to divide 1200. So I'm going to do that. 1200 divided by 340 divided by root 2. and I get a value of 4.99, we can say that IRMS is simply equal to 5 amperes. Okay, right, and that's how we are going to calculate that. And then they say to us for 9.2.3, calculate the resistance of the kettle. We already have the power, okay, so we know P average is going to be IRMS squared multiplied by R. And by the way, ladies and gents, you are given these formulae. It just totally depends on you which one you'd like to use. In this case, it makes sense for me to use this one because I've got the average power. It's 1,200. I've already calculated IRMS, which was 5 squared. I'm going to look for resistance. So let's divide by 25. Okay, and so R would be 1,200 divided by 25. That will give me a value of 48 ohms. So the resistance of my kettle would be 48 ohms. Of course, you could have also done this, all right, by using V squared, VRMS squared over R, okay? But you know what VRMS would have been? In this case, that's Vmax over root 2. Right, but ultimately we are back to this. R is 48 ohms, and that's how the cookie crumbles. That's 15 marks. And that leaves now the last question, which we will do in our next video. For now, I'll see you guys next time, and please don't forget to subscribe and to like. And please, I would appreciate your comments, and we'll see each other again next time. Sharp, sharp.